Well, good morning and welcome to Omaha. We're Omaha's only show dedicated to making this city an even bigger and better place. We'd like to thank our sponsors this morning, Cheer Athletic, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym, and Dingman's Collision Center. So if you're thinking to yourself, that's not Trenton Magid and that is not Jeff Beals, you would be correct. A couple weeks ago, Grow Omaha celebrated its 21st anniversary on the air here in Omaha. And only the second time in 21 years, we have two substitute co-hosts today. So I'm Brad Williams. You recognize me. I'm on the show quite a bit, regular fill-in co-host and also a frequent contributor on the different projects Grow Omaha does. I'm with E&A Consulting Group, civil engineering firm here in Omaha. I work on the planning team, so if you ever have a project you want to get going and need someone to bounce some ideas off of, give us a call. I'm also the owner of Brad Williams Photography. I do a lot of Omaha type photos, cityscapes, aerial photos around Omaha, sports, stuff like that. All things that interest me. Well, my co-host today is someone you've heard on these airwaves before, Bill Barstow. Bill Barstow is the owner of ACX Cinemas and also Backlot Pizza, amongst other businesses here around town. Bill, welcome back to Omaha.
It's great to be here. Always enjoy listening, so it's always fun to participate every now and then.
And every time you're on, you always have some great, interesting perspectives on things. So I was really excited when you took me up on the offer to come on the show again today.
We certainly have opinions. They're not always right, but there's we got a lot of things going on in Omaha, and a lot of employees and families and all that kind of stuff. So we love talking all things Omaha.
Yeah, well, a lot of years in business, you get a good opinion about how things actually work. So we have a new restaurant review this week. Chris Corey, our restaurant reviewer, visited the Legacy Chop House, which is out in the Legacy Shopping Center, 168th and Center. Chris says the Legacy Chop House is a modern steakhouse concept with inspired cocktails and darn good steak. So if you want to read Chris's review, head to growomaha.com and click on reviews. And under reviews, there's one that says eats. He also reviews movies. So
he had a great article on that. Had a chance to visit a couple of times, and they're doing a great job, and he had a great article.
He loves, got to know him over the last few years, and he can not only review food, but he's also a pretty good cook too. So it's a
good combo.
Yeah, great combo. So let's get into our economic development news of the week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage. Eagle Mortgage has been around for 30 years. They're a licensed mortgage broker serving Nebraska and Iowa. They give free consultations, pre-approval, conventional, VHA, FHA. And they're located on the corner of 114th and Davenport, just south of Dodge, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. So a major construction project has kicked off in downtown Omaha. The CHI Health Center, the Convention Center expansion really got underway in the last couple of weeks. If you go around to the east side of the CHI Health Center, you'll see them deconstructing the old staircases, that the kind of emergency exits from the upstairs, the banquet or the ballroom floor and the meeting space. It's kind of interesting to see because they had to still have ways to get people out of the building. So they built kind of some scaffolding and temporary stairs and temporary walkways. So it's cool to see that. That project has kind of been in the works for a number of years, or been coming. People have requested more space, more meeting rooms, more breakout rooms, and so Omaha voters approved a $146 million bond last fall to increase it. The expansion will add 94,000 square feet, 25 meeting rooms, access to the third and fourth floors, additional common space, restrooms, and then hopefully in the end will lure some more attractive conventions.
Just a crown jewel. I mean, if you think back to when that wasn't there and how that brought and how that whole area is just the jumpstart of economic development down there is amazing. Just love bringing people. Whenever we bring people into town, I love to bring them through that area just to see how stunning it is.
The surprising thing to me, can you believe that building is 21 years old already?
Well, that's because we're all getting really old.
Well,
we discuss that a lot, but it is crazy to believe. But some of the iconic things that have happened there, and if you're out and about quite a bit, you get to experience a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's certainly a blast.
Right next door to the CHI, the Baby Bob, the connection to the main Bob Carey pedestrian bridge, is nearly complete. We had a photo on the Grow Omaha website this week. Upon viewing the bridge, it looks like it's all done. So Jeff Beals reached out to the mayor's office to ask how come the bridge is not open if it looks done. And apparently they are still waiting on one more part. And once the part gets in and gets installed, then the bridge can be open. So
anybody that's done construction or been involved in projects knows how those things happen.
Yeah.
So
just one little piece can hold up such a large project. So, and that's going to be a great boost to the area. You know, that basically going to connect the pedestrian bridge right to the center field exit of the ballpark. So people in between games, before and after games, will be able to head over to the riverfront and enjoy that, the parks and the museum and whatnot. Next project on the list is the Mutual of Omaha Tower. Currently, it is 28 stories tall, which means it's already 2/3 of the way to the top. The exterior finishes are going up on the bottom floor already, and then the steel structure for the main office part of the tower should be going up at the end of March or the beginning of April.
Another crazy thing to watch, and again, you bring people into Omaha and you drive them down that corridor and all the construction that's going on the cranes, and to watch the progress. You guys do a great job of showing us that progress, and I think of Roger Humphreys as somebody that's the Omaha Press Club quite a bit, and Roger will take pictures from their windows and showing progress, and always enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, anyone that seems to have any interest in city growth and development seems to always post pictures of it. So.
Well, it's hometown pride, right?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
we all want to see growth. We want to see other people look at us in a different way, and that's going to be another one of those projects that we all get to point to.
A major component of the Omaha streetcar project will be starting next week. On February 3rd, the Harney Street Bridge over Interstate 480 will be closed for demolition and reconstruction. People have asked why we're tearing down a perfectly good bridge, but these two bridges over I-480 are nearing the end of their lifespan anyway, so it's a good time to actually get them replaced and get the streetcar tracks added. I know as a business owner on the streetcar line, you're kind of looking forward to getting a new mode of transportation.
We are. We've got Site One Brewing at 25th and Farnham, and I'm sort of an eternal optimist. So when somebody will present and it's like, oh my gosh, look what's coming, the construction project, we just smile and say it's opportunity. Put your head down when it's not always the way you want it, but you know what the finished product's going to be, and I think we're really excited just to be, frankly, one of the stops on the line, and so we're looking forward to that.
Finally, the Omaha City Council approved a $2.47 million contribution to the infrastructure improvements in the Builders District in North Downtown. This will be used to relocate several sewer lines, street pavement, sidewalks, curb ramps, all related to a new city-owned parking garage at 1515 California Street that will be built by the developer. Another great, that North Downtown, the Builders District, that whole area north of the ballpark and now west of the ballpark is really just taken off.
We've got all kinds of cool spots that you can start finding your way into. I did not know that 25th and Farnham is going to be referred to as Farnham Hill.
Yeah.
Maybe it was previously, and again, I like to be the dumb guy in the room, so when I found it, I thought it was pretty cool, and I think we're looking forward to all these little spots that pick up and just destination places for people as they move around a city that's becoming quite dynamic.
Yeah, the Farnham Hill thing, I remember that when it first came out, but it doesn't seem like, it either didn't gain traction or just the neighborhood isn't pushing it or...
Feels early, right?
Yeah.
We're just starting to poke around it, so we're new to the area, but I think it just feels a little early, but it also feels like something's happening.
Yeah.
And certainly when the streetcar comes through, that could be impetus for extending that zone, I guess you could say further east or further west, depending on where you're coming from.
Definitely a lot of opportunity in that area. Well, we're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to be talking to Tiffany Regan from the Omaha Parks Foundation. We'll be back shortly on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to Grow Omaha, Omaha's only show dedicated to the growth and development of your fine city. We want to thank our sponsors again this morning for sponsoring this show. Cheer Athletics, Omaha's the nation's number one all-star cheer gym. If you have child interested in getting into competitive cheer, caomaha.com is their website. And we're also sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center. I'm joined by Bill Barstow this morning, and in our first interview segment today, we have Tiffany Regan, Omaha Parks Foundation. Tiffany, welcome to your Omaha.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you give people a quick overview of what the Omaha Parks Foundation does? Because it's, Omaha has the Omaha Parks Department, which kind of takes care and maintains the parks. But what's the Omaha Parks Foundation do?
The Omaha Parks Foundation is the 501c3, like the fundraising partner to the city of Omaha. We are separate, but we seek out public-private cooperation and partnerships to improve and enhance the city above what the tax dollars would fund. And Omaha is a large city with 256 parks, over 11,000 acres, and honestly just kind of trying to do their best with what they have. And we just look for opportunities to improve everything from the pools to the golf courses to the trails, into opportunities for people to enjoy the outdoors.
Awesome. And then community centers involved in that too?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Trap and skeet. You've got natural surface trails, camps, indoor rec centers, pickleball, tennis, even bus benches fall under the parks jurisdiction.
What are some recently completed projects you have that you're kind of proud of and like to show off?
So I've been with the foundation almost 4 years now, and we have seen a very positive response from the community wanting to support the parks because they are so vital. We've been able to partner with some private either foundations or businesses or individuals to help complete the North Omaha Trail down the northeast quadrant. We recently finished Eagle Plaza at Memorial Park as part of their 75th. We're currently almost to the finish line with Gallagher Park, and that was a $1.3 million renovation, new playground, new spray ground. We restored the fountain, even the guts of it, because a lot of that piping was so old, and a new plaza. So that was really exciting, and that should be operational, the full park, by June. Holiday Lights Festival. This last year, we were the 501c3 partner to the city and the riverfront in doing the Holiday Lights Festival. And then also trees. Our tree canopy is so important, and with the storms, we've been able to plant hundreds of trees with maintenance for the next year or so to make sure that they survive. So that's what we've done the last couple of years, and we have a good path ahead of us as well.
I think the quality of life when it comes to developing anything in Omaha, and sometimes maybe, I don't know if everybody really pays attention to how important all these parks and these public spaces are, and it's really gratifying to hear the work you guys are doing is pretty amazing. As you're listing all those projects, I'm kind of wondering how you sleep.
We are a small but mighty group, and it's really, we've got a terrific team. We just hired our third person, and we're just passionate about the work. We operate very lean because we want to see the funds go back into the park because, as you said, the park system is vital. It is a boost to not only environmental, social connectivity, physical and mental health, economic. Like if you have a good park, chances are the houses around it are better maintained. Just the resale values are higher if you've got a good park. So it really touches every age and every background and so many things besides health and economy. And also attracting new talent to Omaha. That's one of the things people are looking at when they come to get a job is the park system. And so if we have a strong park system, it makes our city more attractive.
Yeah, you said that very, very well.
It's interesting too. I forget what you said. 246 parks.
256 parks.
256 parks, and Omaha has some real hidden gems too that I don't think a lot of people know about. And I know when our kids were littler, we were looking for a city pool that was perfect for little kids. And you mentioned Gallagher Park, and our kids love Gallagher Park. And that zero entry splash area in the nest, they've gotten a little bigger. They can move into the deeper area. There's a lot of different parks for a lot of different people.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also neat opportunities. So, for instance, I know your son plays hockey, and a couple of years ago, the city has a wish list of things that they'd like to improve for the community's use, but it's just not in their budget. And so we were able to partner with Corporal Dagan Page's family and his foundation to replace the scoreboard at Moto McLean in honor of of Dagan. And so that, like, just these little things also, you just make these connections, and they mean so much, and his legacy lives on at Moda, where he used to like to play hockey, and it really makes it rewarding. And the whole community benefits also.
That's great.
No kidding.
What do you have going on now? What kind of new projects are you working on?
So Benson Community Center is getting a total revamp, which is wonderful because it's an old 100-plus-year-old firehouse, and it has gotten tired, for lack of a better word. So we've partnered with the Bay and Rabble Mill out of Lincoln and another philanthropist here in town to renovate the exterior and interior and bring programming back to that space. And it is turning out beautifully. So that's exciting, and that also complements Gallagher in that Benson area. We're also involved with the Memorial Park concert every year. And so we just had our kickoff for planning the Memorial Park concert and fireworks for 25.
And you're going to announce the band right now?
No, I don't even have a date, but
Okay.
as soon as I do. So that's really fun to be a part of, because that's another huge community event in one of our most beautiful sacred parks, Memorial Park. We have a new pickleball complex going in at Church Park off of 50th and C. Coons Playground, 19th and Pinckney. We have a very generous supporter that would like to put a new playground in. That one's almost 30 years old, so that's just getting kicked off. And I know that one of the designers has also worked on some other ones with E&A even.
Yeah.
That's where I last saw you. And then again, trees will be a focus for us this year in replacing some of what we lost in storms. And
When you're still catching up from the
Emerald Ash Borer.
Emerald Ash Borer, yeah. So, I mean, you got...
Can I ask a real quick question?
Sure.
So I live in a world where we have customer expectations and dealing with all that kind of stuff. You're in a world where there's a lot of opinions and there's a lot of needs, and it must be very challenging to have to balance all that. And can you give us a little insight on how you deal with that? And because there is a lot that has to be moving, and how do you deal with that?
We trust partners because we are not the ones that know how to do the grading or the main work. The city we trust. We are very transparent and honest because we are truly not the ones doing the work. The city helps oversee that, and we basically work for the donors and trying to protect the funds and use them the way they're supposed to. And so it's a lot of trust and a lot of transparency and a lot of patience. It gets trying at times, though.
Yeah, for sure.
So at E&A, we do a lot of park projects, too. And I want to say that there's more back and forth on park projects than on a lot of building projects. Because there's so many people that are emotionally invested in these parks that...
That's probably the key, the emotional investment that people feel to very certain things. We have an organization where we have lots of voices, and balancing that and collaborating is, to me, one of the fun parts of it. So
yeah, and there, I think a lot of people's mindset is, the city would, the city should, the city will, and really for the amount of staff, it's like 1.62 people per park to maintain the entire park. It's not realistic. So what we want to create awareness for people of saying, if you drop that trash, chances are Mike D or whatever needs to pick it up. You pick it up. Like, just parks are important. It's like the Indian with the tear. Everyone needs to take care of them. Everyone
we own
needs
them,
to support
right? I mean, they're ours,
Yeah.
and we need to take ownership, and just like we would with our own homes and or whatever.
Yeah, because there are just humans behind doing their best, trying their best.
Well, one final question before we wrap this up. How do people get involved with the Omaha Parks Foundation?
That's a great question. So, as I just said, even in your local park or green space, if you would even help, sweep the sand into the playground or things, just the small things that takes a community, and being an ambassador or champion for the parks. There is a volunteer program through the Parks Department called the VIP, Volunteer in Parks. And so we're always looking for assistance. It can be anywhere from 5 to 30 people going at parks in need and doing cleanups. We have a mini grants program. So if you are involved in one of the parks and rec spaces that you'd like to see an improvement, we ask that citizens write for that. It's empowering the citizens to take action in their own spaces. We also fund junior scholarships if people want to contribute and underwrite kids learning how to swim or go to day camp. We do that. And then we also have a Tee It Up for Omaha Parks each year. And it'll be September 19th at Benson Golf Course. And we'd love to have people participate in that because the money goes right back into the park system that they enjoy every day.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Tiffany. We're going to take our middle of the show break now. When we come back, we'll talk about the Noddle Company Project of the Week Spotlight. You're listening to Grow Omaha on KFAB. Welcome back to Grow Omaha. Today we're sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center, a great local collision center run by a couple really nice guys. Dingman's currently has 4 locations in the Omaha metro area. Going to be announcing a 5th pretty soon. I worked with them on the 5th. It's going to be a great new Southwest Omaha location. And also, I have not had to use Dingman's nearly as much as Trenton does. Apparently, he's a frequent flyer. But,
I always get a kick out of whatever car Trenton's going to meet me with when I'm having lunch or something with him.
But apparently he has to meet a lot of them at Dingman's too. So we're also sponsored by Cheer Athletics, the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. In my nervousness a little bit ago, I accidentally read the Noddle Company Spotlight as part of the news segment. So my bad, but we're going to make up for it because Bill Barstow is my co-host today, and Bill has a couple businesses in Exarban Village, which is probably one of Noddle's premier, or at least most well-known developments in Omaha.
You know, it's really hard to believe that Exarban Village has been around as long as it is. You know, we're pushing 14, 15 years since we opened Exarban Cinema, and we also have Backlot Tap House there as well on Zone 5, which is not technically the Noddle piece, but, you know, to watch, you know, the original plans for Exarban, what that was, and to watch it come into fruition. And, you know, our company has some core values that we work by, and it's very, you can see it in other places. And our core values that we try to live by, and we try to do all our business and everything by is, but we do these 5 things. Number 1, you got to surround yourself with good humans, right? Good humans make everything easier, and things aren't always smooth, and sometimes they get bumpy, and you got to make sure that you've got good humans around you. We also like to make sure that we can do hard stuff, and then we say it a little bit differently, but I'll spare that because we're on the radio. And then you got to figure it out. There's trust. You got to have trust in and out and up and down inside your organization, the people you work with, and then that moment in time. And I bring all that up because I think Exarban Village is a perfect example where a lot of those things come together, right? You've got a lot of diverse partners all trying to make Exarban Village work, and I think the work that Noddle Companies has done as the master developer, if I'm saying that correctly, but you know, they've done amazing work. You know, Lisa Bachman in some of the work she does in putting things together, you know, sometimes it's a little unheralded, but they've done amazing work in Exarban Village. Our side on Zone 5, John Hughes is somebody that was committed to us being there in the early days and all the things it takes. A lot of fun to be around people who see things in a certain way, and I think we could all agree that Exarban Village is just a diamond.
It does really take a true leader to make something like Exarban Village happen, because there's a lot of mixed-use developments proposed, and then once all the players get involved and things, you know, the money starts coming to the table, things kind of can go in a different direction pretty fast. And Exarban is not only kind of held to what they started out to, you know, what their plan was, but they've also grown. I mean, the original plan didn't have, you know, a 19-story HDR headquarters in it. And
I was driving through. I was driving south down 67th this past weekend for a hockey game, and I started looking, and I had a guest in the car with me, and I said, "You don't realize, but just a few years ago, and maybe 15 is not a few anymore, but." To think of all the pieces that weren't there when we opened up at Exarban Cinema. I mean, It was us and then Noddle's building across the way. You know, you didn't have the Blue Cross Blue Shield. You didn't have the hotels. We didn't have Baxter Arena. We didn't have the park completed. You didn't have the parking garages. So it's a lot of fun to, you know, the show's about development, and to sit there. I think people who get to work in the world that you get to work in is really exciting. You get to watch things bubble up and become something, and it's. We're the dumb guys that open up and sell popcorn, but I think to watch all the things develop around us when it becomes complementary is really enjoyable.
You know, a place like Exarban really needs programming, and I know Noddle does a lot of work programming, making sure that, you know, the park is always active with events, and then over on the north side of HDR, that Sunny's area, things like that really just draw people in instead of just being another neighborhood shopping center.
You know, it sometimes gets overlooked maybe by some, I don't know, but, you know, Exarban Cinema draws well over 250,000 guests a year. And if you think about, and it's not coming for free events, it's not coming for whatever, these are people who have committed to coming to Exarban Village and spending hard-earned money. And so we're always very proud of what Ak-Sar-Ben Cinema pulls into. Certainly the industries that we're kind of associated with on the theater side had our challenges through the pandemic, and then some strikes and some other things that disrupted our supply lines. But as we, what is the next version of what's that going to be in Ak-Sar-Ben Village? I think you're 15 years in now, so you're going to start seeing some newer people coming in and out of the village, all kinds of restaurants and services and things like that. So I think it's going to be another exciting time to watch what Ak-Sar-Ben Village wants to be next. And certainly this version has Baxter Arena and the park and all the, the legacy work that Jay Noddle's group and the people and our people and John Hughes and all these guys and other developers that have all put that together, including the university partner, which is obviously a huge piece of that.
Yeah, and I think the university part just fits so well down there.
It really does. I mean, I like to tell people that, imagine having a business where, literally kitty corner across the way there is, 1,500, whatever the number is, students living on campus and learning how to use all the pieces and parts that are Ak-Sar-Ben Village.
Unfortunately, Omaha has had quite a few restaurant closings in the last several months. As a restaurant owner, what are some of the challenges you see kind of facing the restaurant industry these days?
This is going to be a long one, but I think we should focus on the positive, and that is there's an awful lot of new concepts opening everywhere, really exciting concepts. We've seen a ton of them from some restaurant groups opening up down in the old market. I take the other side of it. I think there's just a time where things are being right-sized in all kinds of ways. And we're not experts by any stretch of the imagination other than, we do have informed opinions. We operate theaters and restaurants in multiple states and different developments in different areas, and we get to see a lot of different things. And when I talked about our core values of being around good humans and trust and things like that, I think anybody that's going to go into business, especially in the restaurant business, you got to be around all the pieces. You got to have convictions about what you're doing, right? And making sure you're with the right people in the right area that are surrounded by great parks and other things where people want to be. But then you also have the business side of this thing, and that is in the restaurant industry, there is a pie. And it's a math problem, right? And if labor costs X and my supplies cost X, and I'm committed to using the best supplies and the best ingredients, you've got to have movement in there. And your rent, your cost of occupancy is also very, very important. So I think what we're seeing right now, as some expenses have skyrocketed, we find that in certain parts of the country where we do business, Omaha is not particularly competitive for wages for employees. It's wages are lower in other parts of the country than they are here, and when you have that really low unemployment rate, that's not always a good thing. And so you've got to find ways to make that all work, and there's only so many things you can do on your supplies. So unfortunately, sometimes your cost of occupancy, your landlord is somebody you better be in partnership with, because if an area changes and develops and things happen, you have to have an open dialogue with them about that. I think from another partner that we all have is our banking partners and that kind of thing. And, there's not a lot of banks that are really willing to loan in the restaurant business right now, and the theater business for sure. So you have to have really good relationship with everybody around you. We've been fortunate enough to have great banking partners over the years in Omaha. I think back to Core Bank being somebody who took a chance on us many, many years ago. Lots of different banking partners that you can work with. You just got to, again, I'll take it right back. You got to surround yourself with good humans. But I think we're seeing a resurgence in the restaurant business. I don't see it the other way. I really don't.
So you're thinking more of a right sizing or
We use that word a lot. You have to right size every deal you're in. The world has changed dramatically. We see changes in things like late night guest movement. It's not quite what it once was. So then restaurant guys might say, well, then I'm going to move in to try and pick up a lunch or a brunch. Well, now, you and I could probably name, I don't know how many different restaurant concepts have opened in the last 5 years that are just restaurant or, breakfast and brunch. Yeah. So, I love the challenge of the pieces, and we surround ourselves. Again, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room at all times. So my son Michael is kind of running our company right now, but we have Dan Watts from culinary, Tyler Schaefer as a sommelier. We've got marketing help with Andrea Olson. We got events with the professor. We try to put together a team that can do all these things better than one person could.
That's great. And then the one thing that we talked about when we were preparing for this show was just having flexibility and not, this is the way we've always done it.
You better figure out a way. I tell a story, and if you think about an old school restaurant that might have had 5 or 6 hosts, running the front desk, and you've got a couple of food runners. Well, in the world of wages that we're looking at right now, that if I've got 4 or 5 hosts at total cost of that guest might be, or that employee might be $15-20 an hour. Do the math. You've got to figure out a way to be efficient there and embracing all the things we do. We've got a concept, Backlot Tap House, which is kind of a fast casual, but it's a little more. We run a very low wage model there, which allows us to do things with food and beer and other things to make us better. So you just got to find the right mix that works for you. And there's a million different models. There are people doing far better than us and have figured out their things. But I think we all need to give a break. And the idea that such and such is closing, it must be, causation and correlation. It's not always what you think it is. I don't know a restaurant guy that isn't working their butt off to find the answer. And sometimes you can't find the answers. So, some open, some close. I think we're just watching a new equilibrium developing.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.